Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your sorcerer of science fiction and the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. On today's episode, which is our 554th episode, we are going to be reviewing sadly, I really want to love it but can't love it as much as I want to, movie that Sven Gulli aired last night, Frankenstein Meets the Space Monster. And yeah, I really do. It's got everything that you'd think I'd love. A monster battle and science fiction. It's even got some cool tunes. However, it's just boring. it's too much stock footage, too much walking around. It's like Lord of the Rings in 78 minutes, except just the walking parts. Having said all that, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this movie. Is it good? Is it bad? It's not. I don't think it's Robot Monster level good or Plan 9 from Outer Space level good, because those movies are amazing in and of themselves, but it's just below it. It might be a B minus or a C plus. So, having said all that, let's roll.
To your eyes, bear witness. Total terror.
I wish they were witnessing total terror. The movie starts out, but promisingly. Um, the direction is good. It's just padded and padded with stock footage. If you took out the stock footage, it'd be about 20 minutes shorter, less than an hour. And there's the Martian spaceship. There's our Martians. This is Dr. Nadir and the princess, who's Markazon. She was played by Marilyn Hanold, who was a Playboy of the Month for 1959 and did quite a few spaceship sappy. Three Stooges from 1957. I Married a Woman, The Texan, Phil Silver Show, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. And she was in The Devil's Fingers, which starred Liberace as Doe in Batman. So she was in stuff. She does pretty well. I mean, Dr. Nadir, of course, who sounds a lot like John Lovitz as the liar. Head of the president, founder of the Pathological Liars Association. He was in The Odd Couple, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Oh, yeah, Pee-wee, and I as the Amazing Larry, and I'm drawing a blank at that. Let's see, Barney Miller, Mary Tyler Moore, The Wild Wild West, all sorts of stuff. So he's been in a bit. Young Frankenstein, pardon me. This should be Frankenstein meets the space monster. But anyway, so those are our two miscreants from Mars. Naturally, it's the same plot as Mars Needs Women, aka the Mysterians. They need breeding stock. Women, female breeding stock. But I swear, he doesn't sound like Lovitz. Lovitz sounds like him when he's playing characters. So it's just funny to hear some 20 years before John Lovitz became famous, to hear him sounding like that. There's nobody else that really gets a credit here that's linked on Wikipedia. More stock footage. They think the Martians think that the Earthlings are attacking with that missile, so they blow it up. And now we're here in Cape Canaveral, and there's our heroes, which would be Jim Carrey right here, who is in many things that we would know, including Return of the Living Dead, a movie I don't care very much for, Invaders from Mars, Poltergeist, The China Syndrome, Wall Street. He's just been in lots and lots of stuff. Hercules in New York. Oh my gosh. Once again, I'll have to get through almost all the peplums before I get to that one. I haven't done a peplum in a while. We need to do that. So yeah, He was in the remake of The Invaders from Mars, Return of the Living Dead Part 2, etc., and so on. Revenge of the Nerds, Piranha, the remake of Piranha. So he's been in a lot. That is his assistant there, or Dr. Nancy Marshall as Karen Grant. And I think that's David Kerman as General Bowers. And our android here, android, mind you, not a robot, is Robert Kelly as Colonel Frank Saunders, who becomes Frankenstein because who else is he going to be? He's really just called Frank. I just like these old, 1965 Florida. There you go. Here's the press interrogating our heroes, and then he freezes because they ask him about his personal life, and he glitches. They rush him out there and get him on there. And they don their science coats because you got to have lab coats on to do science. And the acting's pretty good. It's just undone by a boring script. Is really all it is. And I am playing. I did use this particular song karaoke version from one of my favorite Japanese superhero shows, Kikaida, which we will get to, I promise, because I love it. But we've done Robot Detective, so we're going to wait for a couple months. But just really, the dual nature here that shows up is interesting. But he's an astro robot without a control system, or an android without a conscious circuit, or an incomplete one, if you will. I had to use the synthezoid, but it tells him he's an android because he's synthetic. It's hard to draw a comparison with robots, androids, cyborgs. Sometimes it's just they get used interchangeably. I think she's pretty and smart, so double knockout. And then it was saved by a groovy song. There were a couple of groovy songs and one kind of boring one, but it's all right. But the way it was lit up here, they did it in a row, so they had some sense of style. Stock footage, kapla, meaning success in Klingon. There's the launch. Yeah, that's the ticket. So they shoot him down, and it goes blank. They get scared when they say, "Please stand by." And this is exactly what's going on there. Now, I'm not saying that the $6 million man copied it, but you never know. He's just hamming it up. He knows it's not going to win an Oscar, but it's a paycheck. Everyone's getting a paycheck, and they're professional, but he's a little over the top. And now they're planning to land, and there's their ship. Look at the size of the man getting out. It's a geodesic dome, and this guy takes a shot at him, and he gets zapped into oblivion. Frank lands, sees the Martian, gets blasted in the face, and now we have where the Kikaida, or Kikaider, if you really want, but Kikaida references might come into play. They do a lot of gibber. There's a lot of talking in this movie. They bring the Martian he's injured in, and they say, "Let's feed him to Mull." And these are the sleaziest Martians ever. They're happy to inflict pain and suffering on their own kind. And there's Mull. There's our titular space monster. And then we don't see him for another 20 minutes or 30 minutes. There's Frank with his makeup on, which is really well done compared to said Martian men. Martian women look, completely, like Earthlings. I wonder if they're red, if this would have been in color if they'd been red. She's no Deja Thoris, but she's cute enough. So Frank attacks a couple here. Well, we're not sure if they kill him, but there's one where he uses a machete, and we're pretty sure he kills him. But, his circuitry's gone haywire, so he can't obey the Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. But I couldn't resist this. I left out that Mars needs women. That's what you say, right?
Frankenstein meets the space monster.
Then more walking. And when I say more walking, so you will see the trailer here, and actually I'm going to put in something here in the middle. Before too long, we're up to 108 or 84. Yeah. So we're right in the middle here. There's Frank walking along. He's in Puerto Rico, where he likes tacos and burritos, just like Miss Jennifer Lopez. Yes, I've still got South Park on the mind from visiting Casa Bonita. So see, he meets this guy and just chops him to death. Then we see now this is supposed to be the girl that's uncredited on the poster. Her name is Susan Stevens. She gets kidnapped. Right, she's the first one that gets brought in by the alien, by the Martians. There she is, and they're examining her. And they just do. These women are the most compliant. I didn't think '60s women would be that compliant. Fortunately, Karen Grant is not. But there they are. Look, I mean, they just shot this. There's a lot of scenery shown from Puerto Rico, and it's an island surrounded by water, vast quantities of water, or some idiot might say. And there he is, climbing aboard there. Now we get a romantic musical interlude. And after this, let's just stop and insert the 8mm version here. It is 7 minutes. Now let's put the trailer in here and we'll do so you don't have to watch all 8 minutes of the 8mm version. How's that sound? I think it's.
Do your eyes dare witness total terror? Frankenstein meets a space monster.
All recorders too fast.
This is it. For the first time on the screen, America's missile might mobilized against annihilating invaders from outer space.
We have come here to this planet for one purpose only, to acquire breeding stock to repopulate our planet.
See the kidnapping of the Earth Maidens for the love-starved slaves of the sterile planet.
Very good. We have done well, Nadia.
I am pleased, Princess. You are satisfied.
I will be satisfied when we have enough more like her to commence phase 3.
See the terrifying invasion of the beach party. See a United States astro robot become a creature of death. For the first time, see Earth horror versus space terror. See Frankenstein meets the space monster in Futurama.
So they start marching about, and they've got an android detector or something, nuclear radiation, who knows what. But there they find him, and they're happy to see him, and they get him to not menace him. He recognizes them, even though his brain's a little haywire. So his creator, Dr. Adam Steele, hooks up some diodes to him to fix him up and recharge him, get him a little more controlled, and it works. So this Frankenstein's monster is not the villain, even though he went a little haywire. Here's our Martians racing around. Now look, they're in suits, which I would assume would give them their skeletons some more buoyancy or some more power, because Mars is like a fifth or a sixth of Earth's gravity. No, that's the moon. Well, it's not as much as Earth's gravity. If you've read your John Carter novels, and if you haven't, you really should. An Earthman turns into a Superman. Written in 1912. Anyway, be that as it may, an Earthman turns into a Superman on Mars. A Martian would just collapse into a puddle because they don't have the skeletal strength or the muscular strength to survive on Earth. So they're racing around looking for more women. And let's see, what else is going on here?
This is it. For the first time on the screen, America's missile might mobilized against annihilating invaders from outer space.
Mars!
Here to this planet for one purpose only, to acquire breeding stock.
She looks like, again, a normal human. The men don't. But Karen is sent out to go get help. The Martians find a disco and they abscond with all the women and they just take them and nobody fights back or anything. Sure, they've got guns, but there's like 30 women and 4 Martians, or 30 humans and 4 Martians. They grab Karen and off they go. There they are lined up. Now you've seen how big that is, and these women just lie down and get covered with a sheet. And Nader wants to know where this thing is, what this thing is. She won't. Karen won't tell him, and they get put in. She gets put in there next to Mole. Mole, not played by Richard Mole, who played a lot of these sort of animals. The ice monster Bigfoot thing in Caveman, to name one. That is Bruce Glover, who is the father of Crispin Glover. He was Mr. Wint in the James Bond Diamonds Are Forever, 1971, Walking Tall, Chinatown, and Hard Times, all after that. But that's him under all that. He was also a Martian crew member. Sven did tell me that last night. Credit where credit's due. More marching, and they find Kate's moped or whatever the hell, a scooter or whatever it is, and off they go. These two are sleazy. There's a biplane for some reason. Smarmy is also a good word because they like torturing people. I mean, she's going to get replaced if she's the only woman on Mars that can, but they need breeding stock. So apparently, well, we've got more marching. And then, yes, the ship sound makes Frank go a little haywire. I did draw the Kikaida there parallel as well. And off Adam Steele goes. I wonder if he dated Jennifer Marlowe later on. Maybe that was his son, Steele, not Les Nessman. And they do a funny phone thing here with the local because they're in Puerto Rico. And he calls Sarah to hook him up with NASA. And this guy returns his call, and off the more stock footage for the Air Force getting sent out and armed services. Frank battles some Martians but gets captured. There's more stock footage. Frank's asleep. More stock footage, which is kind of it's integrated pretty well. It's not jarring. It kind of looks like they're bombing a Martian craft. Frank wakes up and Karen, to her credit, says, "Free the other girls first," and he does. So they get out. Where did they hide these women? Where on earth was that cell? Where's this cell? Frank frees Karen, and then Mole gets out. The Martians free Mole, and the alleged battle happens. This is 10 minutes left in the movie. Here's the crux. The problem with the movie is there should have been more battles between Frankenstein and the space monster. I mean, right away they should have had him fighting the monster. That could have been how he got damaged, rather than with just a blast from a Martian. I mean, they show him right away at the beginning, well, as Shadow, but why not have some like 3 or 4 skirmishes where each one kind of wins 2, and then they have the final battle, which is poorly shot and in smoke on the spaceship. I mean, it's 78 minutes. Get rid of some of that stock footage and put in a battle sequence. Alas, in Britain it was called Duel of the Space Monsters, which would have been if I'd have seen this as a kid, I might have liked it a little more. And I do like it. I just don't. It could have been so much better, but just a little more battle footage. Just spread it out. Spread out. But finally, Frank grabs a hold of one of the air blasters, which was a toy that you could shoot and got banned because you could shoot things with it, and probably a lot of little brothers and sisters got shot at. Blows it up. Karen and her boyfriend, Dr. Adam Steele, reunite, and off they go, and for another romantic go-round the island of Puerto Rico. So here's our cast, and there's the songs, and they're pretty decent songs. The soundtrack's kind of swinging. So you makeup by John D. Elise. I don't know if he did anything else. He probably did the Martian makeup, but I'd brag more about the original Frankenstein makeup, because they couldn't license it from Universal. And I just like titles designed by Everett Shazam! And he turns into Captain Marvel, I guess. And that's the end, a Futurama Entertainment Corporation presentation. Now, knowing as much about Matt Groening as I do, the Simpsons creator, and had some hand in Futurama, I'm quite sure he might have seen this there. I mean, Futurama is, a decent title. So, anyway, there we go. That is our Svengoolie review of what Svengoolie showed. Next week, he's showing Curse of the Vampire, Return of the Vampire, where Bela plays not Dracula and there's a werewolf. I don't care for that one so much, so we probably aren't going to review it because it's. Maybe I'll take a look at it and decide. Anyway, having said all of that, and be that as it may, this is your humble agent, X7, signing off until our next assignment, and I'm phasing out.